story, the Scarecrow. They say the oldest things in this world are not the mountains or the seas, but the things that walk among the crops at night. Things that existed before barns and tractors, before men cut the land into neat squares and planted their harvests. In every country, there are stories of watchers in the field, silent shapes that guard against crows and thieves, but sometimes guard against nothing at all. The Scarecrow is a human idea, but some ideas take root deeper than intended. And sometimes, when fear and superstition feed them long enough, they stop being ideas and start being something else. The Scarecrow Man was one of those things. No one could say where the first story began. Some said the Dust Bowl, when the earth cracked and gave up its strength. Others claimed it went back further, to when native tribes warned of watchers that stalked the corn at harvest time. The truth didn't matter. By the 20th century, the legend had a shape, and the shape was always the same. A man of straw who was not placed by any farmer, who appeared in fields uninvited, who moved a little closer each night. It started, as such things often do, with disappearances. Farmhands went missing in the Midwest in the 1930s. Entire families in Kansas abandoned their land without explanation, meals still on the table. A few of the neighbors whispered that they had seen a scarecrow leaning on the fence posts of the empty farms. Not the usual kind, stuffed in place with old overalls and burlap. This one looked heavier, its head too round, its arms too long. They said the crows never landed near it. They said its shadow fell against the sun. The Depression swallowed many of those stories. People forgot or pretended to, but the Scarecrow Man never forgot. By the 1950s, new reports surfaced in Iowa. Teenagers sneaking out for night drives spoke of seeing a scarecrow in the middle of deserted roads, standing perfectly still until headlights hit it. Then, when they slowed and blinked, it was gone, only to reappear further down the road. A few claimed it tapped on their windshields as they fled. Most didn't tell anyone at all. Those who lived close to the land, who planted and reaped, understood the signs better. They saw scarecrows in their own fields that they had never built. Some tried to burn them, but the fire never caught. Some tried to cut them down, but the straw bled like wet earth. Those farmers packed their families and left, selling the land for pennies, grateful just to leave alive. But not all were so wise. Some stayed. And when they stayed, the Scarecrow Man came closer. It was said he never moved when watched. In the daylight, he was a statue, awkward and stiff, clothing stitched from rags and hides. But at night, when no one's eyes were on him, he shifted. Always closer, from the edge of the property to the fence, from the fence to the porch, from the porch to the window. Crows knew him. They avoided the fields where he walked. Dogs whined and pawed at doors when he drew near. Cats hid and refused to emerge. Even the wind seemed to hush, as if unwilling to rustle the straw of his body. Some described his head as a burlap sack, stitched with crude eyes and mouth. Others said it was a skull, filled with seeds, teeth of corn kernels, eyes of black soil. Still others swore it was no head at all, just a shifting darkness where a face should be. And yet no description ever matched another perfectly, because the Scarecrow Man was not made to be seen clearly. He was made to be feared. By the 1970s, police reports began to circulate quietly. Disappearances of entire households in rural Illinois and Nebraska. No signs of struggle. No footprints, no tire tracks, no broken locks. Just empty homes and always a scarecrow standing somewhere nearby. Authorities dismissed the connections. But the rumors spread, as rumors always do, carrying whispers across bars, church steps, grain silos. Don't go into the fields at night. Don't look too long at scarecrows you didn't build. Don't follow the rustling sound when there's no wind. The Scarecrow Man had become more than a story. He was a pattern. Those who studied folklore noticed that he followed certain rules. He never appeared in cities, never in crowded streets. He needed space, soil, the quiet isolation of farmland. He thrived where fear was strongest, where the harvest might fail, where storms leveled barns, where men wondered if their land had cursed them. And once he appeared, he stayed until the fear had ripened. Then he harvested. What he harvested was never crops. People found remains sometimes, but never whole bodies. A scarecrow's frame stuffed with things too human to ignore a hand, an eye, a mouth sewn into burlap. Some of the straw beneath stained black, not yellow. And always the sense that it wasn't finished, that the Scarecrow Man was building himself stronger with every victim. Piece by piece, the cycle repeated itself for decades. Empty farms, silent fields, new towns touched by old dread. Investigators came and went. Journalists wrote half-forgotten articles. Folklore enthusiasts traded stories. None stayed long. None wanted to be too close when the Scarecrow Man decided to move again, because there was one more rule. He could leave with you. Travelers who drove through farmland sometimes saw him in the corner of their headlights, thought nothing of it, and drove on. Weeks later, they'd notice a scarecrow in their backyard, though they lived nowhere near farms, or on the roof of a garage in a suburb, or standing at the edge of a schoolyard. The Scarecrow Man did not belong to one place. He belonged wherever fear lived, wherever people looked at the shape of a man made of straw and wondered if it could move. And so the legend spread, unstoppable, like seeds carried on the wind. By the 2000s, digital cameras caught him more often, though the images were always blurred, warped by motion that should not exist. Videos on early internet forums showed him standing behind fences or in ditches along highways. Skeptics claimed trickery. Believers knew better. The Scarecrow Man was not content with farms anymore. The world had grown smaller, more connected, and so had his reach. Fear no longer needed fields to ripen. It only needed imagination. And imagination was endless. They say that once you've heard the story, once you've seen his shape in your mind, you invite him closer. That is why the crows fall silent, why the dogs whine, why the straw shifts though there is no wind. The Scarecrow Man has learned to travel through stories themselves. Each telling plants another seed. Each seed grows another watcher in another field. Still to this day, there are people who doubt his existence, even though everyone who has been in a cornfield has seen him. Maybe just a glimpse, through the corner of your eyes. Everyone has seen the Scarecrow move and shift a bit. So if tonight you go to bed and dream of a scarecrow standing outside your home, don't bother closing the curtains. Don't bother locking the doors. The Scarecrow Man doesn't need an opening. He only needs patience. And patience is the one thing he has more than straw.